So here's the article. It was in the Jerusalem Post. I-E-Y-E, I signage placed in operating rooms increases civility among staff. Now, who can guess what point I want to make? It's fascinating. Australian researchers have conducted a successful experiment to prevent rude comments in operating theaters by placing eye signage in operating rooms. The eye images, without any accompanying explanation, that were attached to the walls of an operating room in an orthopedic hospital in Adelaide markedly reduced poor behavior among surgical teams. Lead researcher Professor Cherry Ostroff attributed the result to a perception of being watched, even though the eyes were not real. Okay, folks. When I read that, it was as delicious as a good cigar. That article makes the case for the moral necessity of God better than any single article I have ever read, any theology I have ever read. If you don't think you're watched, you won't act as nice. That's the way it works in real life. That's not the way it works at Harvard or Oxford or the University of California or any other university, because they live in make-believe worlds. Oh, people don't need to believe that they're being watched. They will act good because of their conscience. See, that's called, I'm debating between foolish and stupid. It's both. People believe what they want to believe. People want to believe that God is unnecessary for a moral universe. They want to believe it, so they believe it. By the way, a lot of religious people also believe what they believe because they want to believe it. This is a universal issue among human beings. A minority of human beings believe things because they make sense. They believe things because they want to believe things. People who want to believe men give birth, believe men give birth. Men do not give birth. It's an absurdity. And yet there are millions of people who say men give birth with great conviction because they want to believe it. That is true about a whole host of things. The idea that God is completely unnecessary for moral behavior, for a moral society, is a belief that people hold because they want to believe it. They don't want to think God is necessary. It's not a matter of they don't want to think God exists. They don't want to think God is necessary. By the way, I've made this point often. I have brought a lot of people to taking God and religion seriously, God and the Bible seriously. I have very rarely done it by arguing for God's existence. I have always argued for God's necessity. That is much more important. If you believe in God, but it plays no moral role, what is the difference whether you believe in God or not? I have made this point all of my life about the being watched issue. Do people drive as carefully when there is a police car driving next to them or no police car? Clearly, if you think that you are being watched, you act differently. That should go without saying. But we live in the age of secular foolishness where people deny the obvious. Do you know that I quote a study in my commentary on the Bible, the Rational Bible, and this was fascinating. Societies that believe in hell have better conduct than societies believe everyone goes to heaven.